gone orange, Ruth. There is no escape on the orange sofa today. And Ruth has written Nevergreener, which was a book I just loved. It's about second chances, it's sexy, it's about whether you should take them. It's full of sort of human mistake, if I'm allowed to say that. What was it for you?
Yeah, a lot of fallibility, I think. I like to create characters that show us our fallibility. I think it's quite interesting, and I think none of us is perfect, and we're in danger of thinking that everybody has a perfect relationship, and of course there's all this stuff going on underneath the surface. A bit like when you think everybody else is having a perfect Christmas day, and they're not really, so.
And there is something when you're reading it, you sort of think, I can sort of see where this is about to go wrong, but a little bit of you thinks, maybe, second time round. It's all about whether you go back to take that chance that you might have felt you missed, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, for those of you who haven't read it, how dare you?
You'll all be sent home at the interval.
Kate has an affair when she's 22 with Callum. It ends in heartbreak, and then 17 years later, she meets him again. And probably in real life, what would happen is they'd go, oh, heck, we had a bit of a thing, didn't we? Yeah, nice to see you again, bye, and go. But they don't do that, because then there wouldn't be a story. So it's all about what happens when you make the wrong decision, I guess. Yeah.
And, I mean, you are no stranger, obviously, to script writing, to the art of writing. But to go into fiction, did that feel like it took a whole new Ruth?
Yes, it did, because originally Nevergreener was a screenplay that didn't really go anywhere. And then I rediscovered it sort of 14, 15 years later. And what was great in the exercise of turning it into fiction and prose was that I found suddenly that I didn't have the boundaries that you have obviously with a screenplay. You've got timing issues and that kind of thing. So it was great to be able to have freedom to go where I wanted to with the story, and also to go inside characters' heads. That was the brilliant thing for me with writing prose fiction, was just to be able to go inside the heads of these characters and wonder what they're thinking.
One of them, Kate, is an actress who you don't hold back about. You have sympathy, but she's clearly a bit of a diva. I wonder if that's all your sort of frustrations coming out, but in your own characters.
Well, I think that the world of TV and film is it's rich pickings for egos, as is the case probably in any creative arena. I said that very delicately then, didn't I? So yeah, and obviously it's a world that I know about. But I hasten to add, it's not based on anybody in reality, and it comes totally from my imagination.
So if I then said to you, come on, it started as a play,
yeah,
as a film. Could you imagine it as a film? Who would you be casting?
Well, I'm not sure if it would transfer onto screen, even though it started as a screenplay, because you've got these different time zones. You'd have to get an actor that could either get the same actor that could play somebody when they were in their 20s and then nearly 40, or you have two different actors playing it, which has its own difficulties. I'm not sure who would be cast, but I tell you what, if it does get put on screen, I want to play Belinda. All right, I'm just putting that out there now. I'd like to play Belinda, who is Welsh, so that's quite handy.
And she is great, isn't she? She's the sort of the stalwart character who comes through. Or did you feel a bit of you in that? Or
no, if there's any character in the book that it has me in it, it's in her. It's Hetty, actually, because I was Hetty at Warwick in 1985. I was
the best friend.
Yes, exactly. I did wear a dirndl skirt and green eyeliner and cowboy boots and a bad perm. So that was probably me. But Belinda, I think, is the heroine in the book for me, because she doesn't forgive, but she doesn't forget, but she does forgive, yeah. and I think that's great. And I think I would have made the wrong decision to make it a bit of a happy ever after.
Is it important to you that she's Welsh? Is that, I mean, that was clearly a sort of a decision. Is there a strong Welsh influence in your writing with her?
Well, I think because obviously with Gavin and Stacey and with Stella, that both of those shows are set in Wales, and I do love writing dialogue that's Welsh. Welsh accent.
The musicality.
Yeah, the musicality and also the melodrama. As a nation, we're brilliant at being melodramatic and passionate, and also a down-to-earthness. And those are the characteristics I like in Belinda, really. So I think that it would have been a shame not to have a Welsh character in there, just to be able to utilise all of those thoughts.
And Ruth, would you call this a tale with a moral? Were you conscious of trying not to moralise about it, or do you think that you were sort of leading people in a certain way of what you should and what you shouldn't? It's
called Never Greener mainly because I guess the underlying thrust, and there's a lot of thrusting in it, I have to say, but the underlying moral thrust is that it's the grass is never greener on the other side, and so it's, you know, you're presented with Kate, who was unhappy with her lot and was seeking happiness outside of herself. And I think that's perhaps something that we tend to do. I know I've done it. Sometimes I've sought happiness in a cake, for example. So I think it was just basically looking at how sometimes it's better to look at what we've got in the here and now, and that the grass is never greener on the other side. It's just a different patch of it.
I don't know if you like comparisons. I mean, people have talked about one day as a comparison. Is it helpful for an author to be compared to a very, very successful bestseller? But do you does that help you, or do you sort of think, treat it in its own way?
Well, it's funny because I saw the film of One Day many years ago, but I didn't read the book. And then a couple of people had said to me, oh, there's a similarity. And I thought, oh, heck. And I found it. My stepdaughter had it on the bookshelf. So I did dip in, and I thought, oh yeah, there are similarities with the time passing, Edinburgh, all of those kind of things. The 80s. The
frankness, actually, of the conversation as well.
Yes, that's true. But I hadn't read, and I'm glad I didn't read it, because then maybe it would have somehow influenced me. But it's a huge compliment to be compared with Mike Nichols. Gosh.
Ruth, it's been a real pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And congratulations on Never Greener.
Thank you. Thank you very much.